Who are the brothers of Jesus? Hello, my name is Jairo Torres, and in this presentation I invite you to review what the Bible tells us in this regard. I begin by praying and asking the Holy Spirit to enlighten us in this journey. Let us remember what Paul tells us in 1 Corinthians 13:12. Now I know in part. We all begin from this limited knowledge. Two passages from the same event in Matthew 13:53 to 56 and Mark 6:2 to 3 reveal what the people of Nazareth believed who were James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas. Matthew 13:57 recounts how the inhabitants of Nazareth were scandalized upon hearing Jesus because they could not reconcile the wisdom they heard in his words with what they thought they knew about him. Matthew 13:55 and 56 summarizes this conversation of the people of Nazareth saying, "Isn't this the carpenter's son? Isn't this his mother named Mary? Aren't his brothers James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas? Aren't all his sisters with us? Where did this man get all these things?" It is clear from the text that the people of Nazareth had a very superficial knowledge of Jesus, and they had not spoken with him, nor did he mention when he began to preach or perform miracles, or his conversation or interactions during the wedding at Cana, or even recall what he was lost when he was 12 years old, etc. The knowledge of Jesus seems limited to knowing who his parents were and with whom he spent time as a child. The accounts of Jesus' crucifixion in John 19:25, Mark 15:40, and Matthew 27:55 to 56 present several family groups. The passages in Mark and Matthew indicate that the mother of the Zebedee sons was named Salome, and that there was another Mary who was the mother of Joseph and his younger brother James. It is worth it noting that Mark and Matthew mention the older and the younger sons of this Mary. In other words, Mark and Matthew are indicating that this Mary is not the mother of Jesus, who has the same name. From the passage in John 19:25, we see that among the women present at Jesus' crucifixion were Jesus' mother, Mary, Mary's sister, and Mary the wife of Cleophas. The question arises, is Mary the wife of Cleophas in John the same Mary, the mother of Joseph and James in Mark and Matthew? There are two accounts of Cleopas. The first comes from the Gospel of Luke. In Luke 24:13 to 35, Cleopas was one of the two disciples to whom the resurrected Jesus appeared on the road to Emmaus. Verse 18 records his name, and the other disciple was Simon, who is named in verse 34. The second account comes from Hesippus around the year 150, who indicates that Cleopas was the brother of Joseph, the husband of Mary, the mother of Jesus. Cleopas and his wife Mary had a son named Simon, who happens to be the second disciple to whom the resurrected Jesus appeared on the road to Emmaus in Luke 24:13 to 35. We know from Jude 1:1 that he was the brother of James and therefore also of Joseph. In conclusion, Cleopas was the brother of Joseph, the husband of Mary 1, here on the graph, the mother of Jesus. Cleopas' wife was named Mary, which called we Mary 3, and they had one son named Simon. Simon is a cousin of Jesus according to Luke 24:13 to 35 and Hesippus' record. Mary too, the mother of Joseph and James, is not the same Mary 3 as the wife of Cleopas. Mary too, the mother of Joseph and James, is also the mother of Judas according to Jude 1:1. Mary too, the mother of Joseph, James, and Judas, is the sister of Mary 1, the mother of Jesus, according to John 19:25. In other words, Joseph, Judas, and James were Jesus' cousins on his mother's side, and Simon was Jesus' cousins on his earthly father's Joseph's side. So what other information confirms that Judas, Joseph, James, and Simon were not brothers of Jesus? In John 19:26-27, John recounts how, before dying, Jesus entrusted the care of his mother Mary to him. If Joseph, James, Judas, and Simon were brothers of Jesus, one of them would have taken care of Mary, since she would be also their mother. The passage says, when Jesus saw his mother there, and the disciple whom he loved standing nearby, he said to his mother, "Woman, here is your son." Then he said to the disciple, "Here is your mother." And from that hour the disciple took her into his home. In Luke 2:41-45, it is recounted how Jesus at age 12 stayed in Jerusalem for 3 days, and his parents returning to look for him. No other brothers are mentioned. This argument of silence corroborates the presented narrative. Verse 48 emphasizes that only Mary and Joseph were there. It says, when Joseph and Mary saw him, they were bewildered, and his mother said to him, "Son, why have you treated us this way? Behold, your father and I had been anxiously looking for you." Additionally, the term brother is used broadly in the Bible. For example, in Genesis 13 and 14, Abraham refers to his nephew Lot as his brother, according to the translation. Finally, historical and cultural records from that times in that area indicate that raising children in family groups was very common. Children of several siblings grew up together. It would not be unusual to see Mary, the mother of Jesus, caring for all the children while the other mothers prepared the food or took care of the household chores. If we add the fact that the family was very poor, it would not be surprising to consider that several families shared the same house. In conclusion, the additional information corroborates that Joseph, James, Judas, and Simon were most likely cousins of Jesus and no blood brothers. Bearing in mind our limited knowledge, as Paul expresses in 1 Corinthians 13:12, we hope to learn more details when we are in the presence of the Lord. Thank you for listening. Any comments that help us improve our understanding are welcome. Blessings, Jairo.